modules and packages in Python. What is a module? What is a package? Let me try to discuss here. Very important to be aware of with these points. Note this one by one. Function is a set of statements. Function is a set of statements. Similarly, then what about class? Class is a collection of variables and methods. So when I say methods, when I create the same function inside a class, it is nothing but a method. Then what is a module? Then what is a module? Module is a collection of functions and classes. Module is a collection of functions and classes. Very important. Function is different, method is different. When I define a function inside a class, it is nothing but a method, and module is nothing but it's a collection of functions as well as classes. Very important. Functions plus classes. Similarly, what is a package? If I collectively define modules, then it is nothing but a package. Again, I'm repeating. Package is nothing but a collection of. Package is nothing but it's a collection of modules. Another important point. This is the hierarchy. Packages contain modules. Modules contain functions as well as classes. Very important. Very important. This is the hierarchy which you should be aware of whenever you are trying to know the difference between what is a package, what is a module, what is a function, as well as what is classes. Again, I'm repeating. Function is a set of statements. Class is a collection of variables and methods. Module is a collection of functions and classes. And what is a package? At last, package is a collection of modules. And if you see, this is the hierarchy. Package, modules, functions, as well as classes. Modules contain functions and classes. In general, any developer, what they will do, they will try to develop different features in different modules. So developers develop different features in different modules. So what they will do at last, they will integrate all these modules to get a final product. All these modules are integrated to get a final product. Very important to know this. Suppose you take 5 developers. So each developer is working on each feature of that particular application. Suppose if you take Amazon application, one developer is working on login functionality. Suppose another developer is working on registration functionality. Likewise, there are many functionalities in an application, not only one functionality. So what they will do, at the end of the day, all the modules which are developed by individual developers are integrated to get a final product. It is very important. In general, in practical, we will do this. Developers are testers. Testers are also nothing but automation testers are also nothing but developers, because they will develop automation script. So at last, what they will do, they will try to integrate their code in one repo and they will try to test the final product. Like, tester 1 will work on some module of that particular application so that he can develop some automation scripts. Similarly, tester 2 will work on some other module in that any application and will try to integrate those 2 testers' code in one repo, and thereafter they will try to test the final product as a one product, right? So in this way, you need to understand function, class, module, as well as packages. This is the difference. Each function or feature is developed in different modules and are integrated to get a final product. Then, if different functions are implemented in different modules, then how can I import the functions in one module to another module, functions in one module to another module, and as well as classes also, how I can import? So there are two approaches. Approach 1 is importing the module name, and another approach is first from module name, from module, you are just importing classes. By this, you will not understand anything. Let me open PyCharm and let me make you understand with some example. So approach 1 is import module name, directly importing the module name, and thereafter from module also you can import functions and classes. This is another way of approach. Let us try to see all the approaches. Before that, what I will do, I will try to create a module here. So module is nothing but a Python file. If you can see here, comments.py. Any file which .py extension is nothing but a module. .py extension is nothing but a module. So in module, what you will do, you will have variables, classes, as well as functions. Similarly, a module is nothing but a Python file. So let me create a folder, nothing but a directory. And another important point, directory as well as package, both are different. Let me make you understand in a while. Let me create right now a directory. So let me name that as day 13. So as a part of this day 13, we'll be discussing about modules. So let me create one Python file. So in this Python file, let me try to name that Python file as calculator. So that module name, this Python file it is nothing but a module. So that module name is what I'm defining. I'm just defining it as calculator. So in calculator, these are the methods, nothing but the functions which I am having. So first function is I'm adding 2 numbers, num1 plus num2, and similarly, I'm just multiplying 2 numbers, num1 into num2. I'm just printing those. And let me create another module. So that module is like, let me take like operations. So what are the operations you are doing? You are just doing these operations. So what you are doing upon defining a function here, you are just calling that function with parameter values. So what I want to do right now, instead of calling it here, I want to call the functions in another module. Functions in another module. This is module 1 calculator.py, calculate operations.py is module 2. So up to now we have seen only importing or calling the functions in the same module. But right now we will see how I can call these particular functions in another module. This module name is operations.py. First approach, as I have said you, what is the first approach? Approach 1 is importing module name. Let me try to implement the same with this example. So what I want to do in the first approach, I'm just importing module name. So what I am doing, from day 13 import calculator. From day 13 import calculator. Directly you can also eliminate this data type. If this particular module is defined inside this data type, so that is the reason what I am doing. I'm just importing approach 1, import module name. I have just imported that module name because this particular module is also defined in the same directory. Then thereafter importing, I have imported in the calculator module. I am having two functions. One is add function and multiplication function. So in this add, what I'm doing, I'm just adding two numbers, and in multiplication, I'm just multiplying these two numbers. So you are seen here, I have just called these functions in the same module. I'm just commenting them. What I'm doing, instead of here, I'm just calling there. How I can call? So I need to, if I want to call, I need to specify that module name. Import calculator. I have already imported calculator. So I need to use calculator dot add. That is, when I specify dot here, it will highlight the methods or nothing but the functions in this calculator module. Similarly for multiplication function also. So when I use that module name and I put a dot here, it will highlight all the methods in this particular module. So this is calling the method or nothing but a function in the same module, calculator.py only you are calling. This is calling the function or a method from another module. So what you have done in the other module, you have just imported. In order to call any function or a method or a class in one module, you have to import that particular module. So that's what I have done. This is approach 1. So let me try to execute this. If you can see here, the same functions are imported and have performed respective operations for adding and as well as for multiplication. For adding 100 plus 200, it is 300. For multiplication 10 into 20, it is 200. In this way, you can import module from one module to another module, and thereafter you can try to call the methods, classes, or functions. Similarly, this is approach 1. What is approach 2? Approach 2. Let me try to make you understand with approach 2. If you can see, this is the approach 2. Approach 2. In the approach 2, what I am doing, instead of calling them separately, so at the time of importing that module itself, what I am doing, I'm just to try to import the functions also. So if you can see here, from calculator, I have just imported calculator module only here. But if you can see here, I have, including importing that module name, I'm just imported the functions in this particular module directly. Directly. So now directly you can try to do add, or I can specify the parameters like 100, 200, and similarly multiplication. MUL of 10 in 20, because those parameters are accepting values. I'm just added here. So if you can see here, from calculator, it is just importing add as well as multiple functions directly. This is approach 2. This is approach 1, importing module name only. Along with importing module, you are just importing the functions and classes directly. This is module 2. So in this particular module, you are just only having functions. So that is the reason why you have only imported functions. If it is having classes, also you can import. Let me try to execute this. If you can see here, it has executed respective functions and it has printed. So in this way, this is approach 1 and as well as this is approach 2. In this way, you can try to import modules. From that module, you can import functions. Similarly, in the approach 2 only, instead of specifying the function names, suppose if you have some 1000 functions in this particular module, calculator.py, like division as well as subtraction, like there are some more. Suppose if you think not only those, some more like hundreds of functionalities. So I cannot specify them like this. Instead of that, what I can do, I can specify star here. When I specify star, it means all. So whatever the functions, methods, classes are there in this particular module, you just try to import all. So instead of this, I can go for this method if I am having more functions, methods, or classes in this particular module, or if I want only few of them, I can go for this method. So this method and this method is both same. Our approach is both same, but the difference is, without explicitly calling, I can import all the methods and whatever the stuff in this particular module directly. So in real time, we will use any of this, but most probably we will use this. We will import all the things, right? Let me try to execute this by commenting this. If you can see here, this also printed the same operation. Let me try to create one more file, like Python file. It is animal.py. So in this animal.py, I'm just specifying two functions. One is an animal, nothing but you can think of like that. animal can't fly. So I'm just defining that function name as fly as well as animal color also. So let me create another module. In this, I will just specify board. So if you can see here, in these two modules, I'm just specifying the functions with same name. You can see here in the board, you are having fly function as well as color function. And if you can see in the animal module also, you are having fly function as well as color function. Then in this case, you just clearly understand here. If you can see here, calculations and operations. In calculations, the function names are not same, and you have just to directly call with the help of approach 1 or approach 2. But there is two modules. In these two modules, if you can see, function names are different. Names are same. Fly as well as color. In the board also, I am having fly as well as color. Now there is one more module, animal board.py. Animal board.py, which is nothing but a module. So in this module, what I want to do, I want to use the functions of animal module as well as functions of board module. But here the conflict is functions in both the modules are same. Functions in both the module names are same. If you can see here, function name in both modules are same. Then in this case, how I can import? I can go for approach 1 as well as approach 2. So this is approach 1. What I can do in the approach 1, I can just import that module name, like import animal.py. Animal. So animal.py is not but a module. I'm just importing name only. Similarly, import board. So if you are having same function names in different modules, so the better approach is approach 1. So because by specifying the module name, you can try to import the respective functions. What is the function in this animal? Fly as well as color. Similarly, animal dot color. So when I say or specify like this, in this particular animal module, I'm having the fly function, as well as in this animal module, I'm having the color function. These functions are associated with respective modules, right? So in the same way, let me try to call the board functions, board.color as well as board.fly. Very important. So upon calling, it will execute respective statements in those respective functions. If you can see here, I'm just calling animal methods as well as board methods. So when I specify, these are very clear. There is no difference. There is no conflict here, because in this animal module it is having fly function, it is animal module it is having color function. Similarly, board also, when I specify color with respect to board, it will try to consider this particular function comes from board, so directly it will go here. There is no confusion for this Python language, for this interpreter. But in the approach, let us try to see approach 2. What is the approach 2? I'm just importing module name. Along with the import, by using from, I'm also importing functions and classes. This is approach 2. Let me try to comment approach 1. If you can see here, what I am doing in the approach 2, I'm just calling all the functions without explicitly defining. This is one way of calling in the approach 2. What I am doing, if I say from animal import star, it will try to import all the functions, classes or variables in this particular module. So upon importing, I need to call those respective methods. But if you zigzag like this, so what it will do, in animal also you are having fly as well as color. In board also you are having fly as well as color. The Python interpreter, what it will do, it will try to confuse. If you can see here, in board module you are having fly and color. So that is the reason animal is disabled. If you can see here, if I disable this animal also having same fly name as well as function name as well as same color function name. So this is not the good method if we are having same function names in different modules. So this method is very good for this. If you want to use this approach to, you need to specify those functions, classes, or anything which you want to import after this statement. Similarly, if you can use two from statements, one after the other, then it will take respective functions from the nearest from statement. So in this way, you can import functions and classes from different modules which are having same function names or class names or variable names. So the better approach for this case, if modules are having same function names, is approach 1. It is very important. So for calculator.py, if you can see, observe here, you can use approach 1 or approach 2. Anything is fine. And in the approach 2, you are having this type of approach also. Like instead of explicitly specifying the function names, you can try to specify star here. If you specify star here, it will try to import all the stuff which is present in that particular module. Let me try to create one more module. Suppose that module name is A. If you can see here, that module is a.py. So in the a.py, instead of functions, I'm just creating a class, and inside a class, I'm just creating a method. Inside a class, what I'm doing, I'm just creating a method. Similarly, let you take another module. Suppose B. So in this particular class, in this particular module, I'm just creating another class. Inside the class, I am having method, display method. If you can see here, these two classes are the classes in these two modules, A module as well as B module, are having same method names. How you can access the classes in different modules, and with the help of these classes, how you can create an object in order to call any method. We have discussed it so far. Class and object, when you are discussing, in order to access any method inside a class, I need to create an object. So how I can do that? Let me try to show you. Let me create another module, ab.py. In this module, let me import module A, let me import module B. Import A, module A, as well as import module B. Because if you can see here, we have seen in animal as well as in board, we have just barely defined the functions. Animal and as well as board having same function names, even though their statements are same. But here, if you can see, these two modules, A module as well as B module, are having same method names, but the difference is class name. Class name here it is animal, and class name here it is board. So even though methods names are same, but class names are different. So what you can do, you can try to use this approach 1 as well as approach 2. How we can use approach 1 as well as approach 2? This is approach 1. Let you see here. Approach 1. This is approach 1. In the approach 1, we can import those respective modules, and thereafter importing the classes. What I'm doing, I'm just creating an objects. Whenever we want to create any method inside a class, I need to create an instance of the class. That instance is nothing but an object. Obj, suppose, let me take that instance name as object name as obj1, that is equal to animal. So animal class. Similarly, object 2, object obj2 is equal to, this object 2 is respect to B module. In this B module, I am having board class. I have just created objects for this classes in the respective modules. And if you can see here, for calling the methods inside a class, I need to use those instances. Object 1 dot display. Similarly, object 2 dot display. If you can see here, there is no confusion for us as well as for the Python program also, because the class names are different. Even though the method names are same, the class names are different, so there is no confusion for this. Let me try to execute in the approach 1. If you can see here, I like a cow, I like parrot. These are respective statements in the respective display methods in respective modules. Similarly, this is approach 1. Let me try to make you understand with approach 2. So in the approach 2, how I can import? If you can see here, I can import functions and classes by using from. I can specify that module name, as well as thereafter I will import functions as well as classes. Let me try to import that. So from module name is A. In this module, I'm just importing animal class. Similarly, from module B, I'm just importing board class. Board class, right? I'm just creating objects. Object 1 is equal to animal. This is an instance of class. Similarly, object 2 is equal to board. So with the help of instances or objects of respective classes, I can call the methods. Object 1 dot display as well as object 2 dot display. So this is how you can call the respective methods by creating an object of that particular instance of class, and you can call those respective methods. Even though, again, I'm repeating, method names are same, because of class names are different, you can try to access those particular methods even so they are same, having same name, in this way, in approach 1 as well as in approach 2. Let me try to execute this. If you can see here, the same statements have been printed. In this way, you can access classes, functions, variables, and so on in one module to another module if they are having same names